Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Bucked Up Podcast. If you wouldn't mind just hitting the subscribe button, like, sharing the video, we have new episodes coming out every Monday and Thursday. Enjoy. This episode is sponsored by Exotic Roots Hydro, which I have to give a huge shout out to. They are a huge supporter of the podcast, and I'm really happy to be working with them. If you're ever in Rochester, New York, and you need to learn about any of your hydroponic needs, go to their shop. You can follow them at Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. Shout out their whole team. They have an amazing venue space. They're going to be putting on tons of events. Just make sure to follow Exotic Roots Hydro on Instagram. And if you're ever in Rochester, definitely stop by. Let's get back into it.
It was at this moment that he knew.
He bucked up.
Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up. Now you have fucked up.
Thank you so
What's up,
much
man?
for coming on. What's going on? I'm happy we finally got this working out.
Wow, me too. Excuse me. I just got off of work, so I'm having a little post-work snack.
No problem. I totally understand. You're a very well-rounded dude. You do a lot. I can't believe it.
I do. Thank you.
I like my whole life I try to like make it so it's a well-rounded oiled machine, but I feel like when I see your post I'm like, all right, you're someone I idolize for that. You got your job, you got your art, you have your family, your cute ass dog.
Yeah, man. The whole thing, and it's all coming together now.
Now, is it a long time coming?
Yeah. Well, we just got married in April. Bought the house in June. Got pregnant and got a dog. So.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So like in like a 3-4 month span, and just like everything all at once. So.
And you were doing art through all this. I was gonna say I was gonna be like, oh, and your art's taken off, but your art's been taken off for a minute.
Yeah. Thank you. So it's been pretty busy, man. I'm sorry about the mishaps trying to get this to work.
Oh, no problem at all. You work during the day, I work at night, so our schedules are always gonna be off.
Yeah.
I had to take tonight off. Is that hard? Like having all this and still working on your art, or is that just your creative? That's your free mental space.
Yeah, it's hard. It can be difficult at times. I work about an hour away from my house, and I got to drive, back and forth, and then come home. You got family stuff you got to do. You got house stuff you got to do. And then somebody might want their project done the following day, so you either got to stay up late or try to squeeze in time during work, lunch breaks and stuff. And I mean, it gets hectic, but it's fun. You know what I mean?
Is
when
it
you finally
like,
get
what were you saying?
when you finally get the project finished and it goes up and it's like, wow, like I did that. So, and then just like getting the feedback from everybody on how they feel about it. You can't beat that rush.
Do you ever see yourself doing art full time? Like becoming not having a day job?
No, I never have. I mean, believe me, I fantasize about it all the time, but I don't think it's ever going to be feasible in this lifetime. You know what I mean?
That is wild, and I think people listening who idolize you or look up to you, like you would be like, oh no, he's just doing that. But that's what I mean about well-rounded. Like you're doing a lot to also be so prolific.
Right. Yeah, I've always had a 9 to 5, so it's I can't imagine myself not going to work and punching a clock, as lame as that sounds.
When did you start taking art seriously then?
Seriously, in what aspect? Just like
I don't know, taking yourself seriously, like considering yourself like this is actually something I want to put out into the world.
I don't think I've ever had like that conversation with myself. It was more or less just trying to get it out there. It was always been trying to get it out there and share, my point of view and like what I had to offer artistically with everyone. So,
did you start at a young age?
Yeah, I mean, I've been drawing since elementary school. You know what I mean? So it's always been something I've done in my free time.
What was your inspiration young? Was it like comic books? Was it rap or?
Yeah, all of that. Comic books, rap music, Ninja Turtles, just like all those cartoons, you know what I mean? And then like my mom used to take me to the comic book store downtown, and get me like she'll let me go in and like, pick three, and I would just get like a new Wolverine or X-Men or like a Spider-Man or whatever. And I would just look because I like, the art style. And I really didn't buy it for the story or anything. It was just like, oh, this Jim Lee drew this, or McFarlane drew this, or Eric Larson drew this. These like the people like I idolized at a young age and like built my style around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. When did you start then turning it over into the music, the more music side of it?
I'm not sure actually. I feel like it always had like a musical influence. You know what I mean? Like you go
Yeah.
to school, you start from like drawing, how you have like your textbook, and then you have like your book cover you get out of the grocery bag, the paper bag, you make your book cover, and then you
Yeah.
just draw shit all over it. And it was always like, I'm gonna draw a Wu-Tang symbol, or one kid might draw a Wu-Tang symbol. I might draw Raekwon on mine. You know what I mean? So it's
And
always been
then were
there. It's
you
always been an
sending
influence.
them to artists?
Oh, my book covers? No, this is
No, I just
way
mean like art that
pre.
you were drawing throughout. No, yeah, sending your textbook in halfway through the year.
Yeah, this is
Fuck,
way
fuck
this is way before
biology. I
internet.
just want Raekwon to
Yeah,
see this.
yeah. You mean like how like the art got out there to different artists? Is
Yeah,
that what you're asking? Oh,
yeah. Like, who was the
yeah.
first person you sent work to?
First person I sent word to was GOC. And God, I told this story 1,000 times. I sent it to GOC. He had tweeted something about he had just like dropped his new album, his new solo album. I think this was like right around between late registration and graduation, sometime like around that time. It was called Love, Life, and Loyalty. And I just got on Twitter and I was following him and everything, and he had dropped it. And I was just like, oh man, I don't know who made this cover, but I can do way better than this. And he like called me out on it and was like, well, let me see something. So it
How
was
old
like
were
the
you?
first, let's see, I'm 41 now. So that had to be 2010, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you can Google it and see when that album dropped,
20.
and that'll tell
Oh
you.
wow. So that's pretty
Yeah.
late into your. Like that's pretty like I thought you. That's pretty late. Like 2011. If you were in your what, mid 20s, 30, like
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. 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 So yeah, man, this is all it's always been like a hobby slash part-time job, you know what I mean? And just kind
Yeah.
of blossom into what it is today.
That's the best way I think it is when you create art for yourself, then other people want to see it. When you create something that you think other people are going to want to see, they're not going to want to see it because it's that
Nah,
energy thing.
yeah. Yep, exactly. Exactly.
So when you were working your 9 to 5 before that GLC shit, did you ever think, oh shit, like maybe one day I am going to try to be an artist? Like at least one on a bigger scale than you were at that point.
It's really hard to think, even like I don't know. It's hard to imagine that in your head when there's no one that doing the same thing. Does that make sense? Like there was
100%.
yeah, so it's like, I don't know, this maybe can't work. Maybe there's not a lot of money in it. I don't know. I'm a guy from Frederick, Maryland. I'm not in New York. I'm not in LA. I'm not, brushing shoulders with these people every day. So it's not like I'm in a loop as far as that goes. Um, so no, it never seemed like it was going to be a lucrative full-time job to me.
Well, that's what I really like about I don't want to say the Griselda push because it was a long time coming, way before that. But I feel like Griselda in itself did show that it brought a lot of people's creativity out in different ways than other rap communities and showed that you can kind of do it on your own, not the way that it's supposed to normally go.
Right.
Being like late 30s, doing it independent, being from Buffalo, it's like, I feel that. I'm out in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Massachusetts, in the woods. Like, there's no reason for me to be, doing any of the things I do other than you have to make that shit happen yourself.
Right. Right. And we have the internet. It's like the greatest tool you can have in your hands, in your house. You know what I mean? In your palm of your hand, on your phone, you have the internet, and it gives you access to everything and everyone.
And if you're willing, that's why, like, I'll see the things, like, there's two types of, like, people will hit me up and it won't be good. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but like, there's a way to hit people up on the internet properly, and not a lot of people do. But if you have something that you're like willing, that's worth offering, then people are going to accept it. But you can't just be sending out mass messages of your music like, hey, listen to this.
Nah, like copy and paste.
Yeah, that it's not gonna work. No.
Yeah. Nah, that's the number one worst thing to do, in my opinion.
Do you have a lot of people hitting you up like that?
With the copy and paste? Yeah.
Whether it be like rappers wanting you to hear their stuff or artists wanting you to check their stuff out.
It's not like a whole lot. It's more or less people just wanting work done, and it's so hard to answer everyone and have that conversation with them 10, 15 times a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People hit me
that
up.
Is tough. You have a full ass other life. Like,
yeah. People are like, oh, you didn't answer this. And then they'll find me on Twitter or find me on Facebook. And they're like, oh, you didn't answer my DM. Like, I'm trying to get work. And I'm just like, yo, if I answer you, I got to answer the last 30, DMs I got, because that's how I work. I can't just answer one guy and I answer everyone. It's so time consuming, and to tell everyone like I can't do it and then have them try to talk me into doing it. And it's just like the back and forth. Meanwhile, I'm trying to manage, 5 guys at work, and, wife texts me about dinner. It's a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, then what makes you keep going? Is it that's just your passion?
Yeah, it's my passion, man. I love the music. I mean, you do comedy and you do this on the side, like, you love it. It's all part of the culture,
Yeah.
I love what I offer. I love the feedback. I love watching the videos, the interviews, the new drops, all that stuff. So I will always be ingrained in it just for that alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So after the GLC thing, is there like another long break that you take, or after that are you like, I'm actually going to start doing artwork for people?
After the GOC thing, I was on like a lot of work on paper and like with colored pencils and like watercolor paint, and I just got introduced like digital artwork. So I brought like a little tablet. I bought a little tablet, and started messing around with that. And I started doing like these little Simpsonized rapper characters, and that kind of popped off. The most people know was when I did an Action Bronson, of course. And like he reposted it, and then like overnight, like I got like 100, not 100, maybe like 10,000 followers overnight after he posted it. And that just kind of like jump started everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many of those faces when you were putting your artwork out on the internet, how many had you done before? How long had you been doing it before the Action Bronson one?
Oh man, I've been doing this like since like MySpace. You know what I mean? Like the MySpace page, throw your music on there.
Yeah.
And the background, and I was just like putting up my watercolor paintings and stuff like that, like portraits and really basic stuff. And just went from there to Facebook to Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, the reason I say that is like I feel like talking to a lot of rappers, I feel this, and artists and comedians, whatever it's like people think that it takes overnight. They think like, oh, you posted it, it went off, like that's how it happens. They don't realize the like you doing it, posting shit for a long time, and maybe it's not getting the traction you think it deserves until one day it does, but you just kept doing it. Like you can't do it for the traction.
No, you just keep doing it. Like I thought it was cool. It was a little fun little thing I was doing. It did pick up a lot of traction. Got a few interviews with like Complex and stuff like that. And I just kept working with people reaching out, and that's kind of like how I built my following, and built my client base.
How did you get into the Griselda scene?
How did I get into the scene?
Like, do you remember the first project you heard, or?
I'm trying to think. It's been so long.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. I can tell you when. Hold on.
I think Reject 2 was the first project I heard by Conway.
Was it? It might have been. So Tyron Perryman.
Mm-hmm.
That does the interviews with Mark from Top Shelf.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called. The new one they got going on now. So I did my first podcast with him. It's called Tea and Converse. And him and I used to go back and forth about like Rap Genius, when it was Rap Genius and not Genius. And we were like nerds in that aspect. But he put me on to West Side Gun back then. And he was like, yo, check this guy out. He's dope, whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll check him out. And I was like, man, I love this. And so I was listening to it. I want to say, I guess Fly God had to be the album that I heard first from him. And then I went back and listened to some other stuff. But yeah, I heard that and I was like, wow, this is insane. I started drawing things, like tagging him in it. And I remember his IG was just like, I remember I had more followers than West Side Gun on my IG at one point. That's how like unknown the whole scene was. Like, and I was just doing all these artworks and he was feeling it and he was like, oh, this is dope, blah, 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 blah. Ended up doing the one with the guys on the bikes, him and Conway on the bike. And he just reached out to me and was like, I want to use this for the tour as tour merch. And I was like, and for the tour poster. I was like, all right, cool. Like, he's like, what do you want for it? And I was like, I don't want anything for it. Just give me an album cover and we do the trade that way. Cause I'm such a fan. I was like, this is amazing to me. I want to be a part of this. Like, just give me a cover and I don't care, Don't be some hoodies and let me do a cover. So, he was like, cool, it's real. So we did that. And I did like smaller things in between then. So I did some stuff for Conway, did some stuff for Benny, did some stuff for Camino. And then one day he just called me up and was like, yo, I need you to show me. He's like, you ever do anything with MF Doom? And I was like, yeah, I did a bunch of stuff. Like, here's some drawings, whatever. He's like, dope. Called him back the next day. He was like, I want you to do this cover with me and Doom on it. It's I got this project coming out. He didn't say anything about it. I didn't even hear it. I didn't even hear the song yet. So it was just like, I just need this like ASAP, and I came up with the idea with the mask and the broken Doom mask with his face on it. And I did it in like maybe 2 or 3 hours and sent it in. He was like, perfect. I love it.
2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. He was like, I love it. And it might have even been less than that. I was so excited. I was just like, So then he dropped it and I was just like, wow, like I couldn't believe it. Like, here, I got this cover with one of my favorites, Doom, my new favorite, West Side. And like, I couldn't be happier. And then he hit me up like a day or two after that and was like, I need you to do another cover for another song. And that was for Two Stings. But I guess when they released it, it was like a back and front cover for the album or whatever you want to call it, with the 2 songs on it. So, I mean,
everything. Is that when you did the one of them fist fighting? Right.
That was on the other. That was for Two Stings. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. It is fun. You didn't hear the music. You just did it without.
Yeah.
That's his shtick. is he just like he doesn't let the people hear the music beforehand. Seppington said the exact same thing for Fly
Nah,
God.
nah,
Like he didn't hear Fly God before he did the cover for it.
nah. I didn't hear anything, man. Shout out to Seth, man. That Flag Guy cover was inspirational for me. So
How did you feel when he made it into the chain? Did you know he was doing that?
no, not at all. It just popped up. Like I said, again, I woke up one day and a bunch of messages, and I was like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And saw it, and I was just like, "Wow, wish I had one."
Yeah, would you rock that at work? You had your
Man,
9 to 5 with
are you kidding me? I wouldn't take it off ever.
yeah, that would be amazing. It would
You know what I
match that
mean?
shirt you have on perfectly.
Thank you. I'd be hooping in that joint and all that.
Have you ever been able to see it in person?
No, no, not at
Have you all
all.
met in person? Have you ever, and you and Wes ever met face to face?
Yeah. A bunch of times. Bunch of times. Yeah.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
you're down in Maryland. I don't know if he had done shows down there or anything. Well,
He
I guess
did.
you
He
came
did.
up here.
Yeah, I came up there. I met him in did a show in Baltimore, and I went to the one in Baltimore and met the whole crew there, and it was love. So
Have you ever been to
and
the Buffalo Kids store?
I haven't been to the Buffalo Kid store.
Yeah, you can't. You have a job. You can't like take the weekend
Yeah,
off
you
to
can't just
like
jump
go.
around. Yeah. Everything has to be really planned out. Like this is the weekend I'm going and we're doing this, and this, and then I'm back home. You know what I mean?
Like you went to
So
the when you did the supply and demand.
it's just like the supply and demand, man. It's like I'm in and out.
That was a
And I can
dope
wait.
event.
It was really dope, man. I'm glad I went. It was insane.
Did you? How did you and Mark speak so highly of you from Top Shelf Premium?
That's my
Shout
guy,
out.
man.
How did
Yeah.
you guys link up?
I met Mark. God, how did we meet up? He reached out to me. Man, I don't remember. It's been so long. This was back when he had a store. And it was like in the back of a women's clothing store. He just had like a little spot in the back. And I remember I was in New York for God, I don't know what I was in New York for. I think I might have went to do Tea and Converse. And was it Tea and Converse? Man, I don't know, man. I was in New York for something. He
Yeah.
was like, swing by the shop. He had reached out to me online about doing some artwork for him, I think. And then I saw him by the shop and met him. Super cool. I was like, man, such positive energy. Like anytime I talk to Mark, it's just like you just want to do all the things because he's so positive. He's so like a great spirit to be around. Like he's got like an aura around him. And
Total. I felt the same way. Yeah.
yeah. So he's telling me it's dope. And I brought some stickers for him. And he was like, great. Like, can you leave these with me? I'm like, you can take all of them. Like, I don't want them, And I remember like when I was in such a hurry to like do all the things while I was there and like get back on the road. And I wanted to swing around the corner to the shop. And like I left, went around the corner to the store. And Mark called me up and he was like, hey man, this kid just came in. He saw your stickers and he wants to meet you. Like he's such a great fan of yours. And he's like, couldn't believe that these were here. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll come back. I was like right around the corner. So I came back in and this guy was in here. He was like the first time I had a fan experience. And
Oh,
he was
wow.
just like, yeah, he's like, oh, I love this. Like it's so great. And I love your artwork and you should do this, this, and this. And he was like so excited to meet me in person. I was like, yeah, this is crazy. Like I just drew and made some cartoon stickers and I couldn't believe it. So that was like the first time I actually got to like feel, what my art meant to someone else, like in person, you know what I mean? Rather than somebody saying, oh, this is dope, and fire emoji online. Like, they
Yeah.
was like, I was face to face and like could see how excited he was to meet me. And it's a great feeling, man. You can't beat it.
You're very humble with that. I feel like you like though you being like, nah, it's a side project or just the way you talk about that. It is you are like one of do you real like are you hard on your work?
No. Very much, very much. My own, would say, your own worst critic.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
feel
man.
like it's to a point of being detrimental or do you feel like it's beneficial because it pushes you to keep going?
Both, because it's detrimental because it take forever. but it also pushes me to keep going, because every project I do, I'm trying to outdo the last project. So if like I put out West Side Doom, I'm looking at West Side Doom and I'm like, yo, this shit is trash compared to like how better I've gotten since then. I got to do better than that. I got to do better than these lines. I'm looking at it, I'm like, look at all these flaws. Look at these colors don't even look right. Look where I messed up right here. And like, it doesn't resemble West Side. That's how I pick my own stuff apart. And then I'm like, I got to be better than the next one. And then like, ever since like I started doing cover art and stuff like that, there's so many other people out there doing cover art, like kind of in the same lane. So now I'm like, yo, this dude's coming with it. This dude's coming with it. Like now I got to make myself really stand apart from everyone else,
Yeah.
and everybody has a different style or whatnot, but now like I really got to turn it up. That's how I approach every project.
Well, the reason is like the supply and demand. I didn't even realize you did the art for that because you have so many different styles. I mean, there's so much art, album covers that I see that I didn't even realize was you until I was doing the pre-research for the podcast, looking back, and I'm like, wait, you did that one? You did the Crime Apple one, or the Reloaded, or the what with Larry June and Cardo, or the supply and demand art. It's like so, or the stuff with Wu-Tang. It's like so many different styles.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day. I was listening to Alchemist the other day. And Alchemist has like, so you can't like listen, like there's one time a day you listen to Alchemist beat and be like, yo, that's an Alchemist beat. Now he's just like, he's so good. Like he just tailors everything to that artist. And that's how I am with the art. You know what I mean? Like I just like, it's like tailored for what it is, the sound, the feel. I don't think there's just like one lane to stay in because it gets old and boring. And I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Like I challenge myself and see where it goes.
What was your first official cover art?
First official cover art? What's official?
Like first one that they like put out, like this is the one they used for the project.
Oh, okay. Like the first one you saw on like iTunes or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's a tough one. Maybe West Side Doom?
Really?
I don't know, man. Let me look real quick. I don't know, man. I'm looking back now. It's like so much stuff that I did I can't remember.
Do you have a
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I do want, I'm interested in knowing what your first one is.
I can't even tell you, to be honest, man. I don't even know.
Do you have one that you're like the most proud of, like that you can look back at and be like, all right, I did my thing on that?
Man, I'm proud of a lot of stuff, bro. Like every one has a story, so I'm just as proud like as they come out. Like so, right now, the latest one I did was a Larry June. Like I'm super excited and proud about that. And I got
the one that just dropped with Cardo.
Yeah.
That was awesome. And that was a completely different, that was a style I'd never seen you do or use before.
Yeah, man, it's a complete departure from what I'm used to. So I'm like super proud about that. Like I was proud about Marcialago. I was proud about Crime Apples. If I Don't See Me in Paradise, like I don't know, man. Like everything I do, I'm proud of for the most part. I wouldn't even want to put it out if I wasn't proud about it.
But you're really hard on it.
Yeah, super hard on it, man. So when I finally hit send,
right before you were like, I hate everything I do. And now it's like that's the plight of the like. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah,
but that's why I wonder, because like I don't know. I feel like me being hard on myself is what pushes me. I feel like if I liked what I did, then I'd just be complacent.
Yeah. And you don't want to be complacent, man. You want to keep moving. So when you ask me, I'm like scrolling through like the art on my page. And each one, I'm like, yeah, I'm like going back to like that day, like working on. I'm like, yeah, looking back, I'm like, yo, this is kind of shitty. Like I can pick it apart line by line, but like looking at it as a whole, I'm like, I'm proud of that. You know, I'm proud of my body of work for the most part.
You had you done a couple pieces for Cardo?
Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff for Cardo, man. I did his solo album. I did Larry June and Cardo. I did the Big Bossin, him and Payroll.
Yeah, see, like I don't like. I guess Larry and the East Coast are kind of combining now, but I love the different styles. Like there is so much different like type of music that I'd listen to that you would have too that you wouldn't think. But
Right,
now, I mean,
right.
now Larry and Griselda are almost hand in hand.
Yeah, man. It's a beautiful thing. You
I'll
know.
be honest, I did not like that song at first. At first, off of side B with the West Side and
Yeah,
Larry. But the more
yeah.
I listen to it, that might be my favorite song on the project now.
Really. It's a
Yeah,
good song, man. That's a good song. It's long, but it's a good song.
it is long, but
Yeah.
he has a weird ass flow. It's
Yeah, yeah. I just wish like Larry June to rap first on it.
oh yeah, I agree. Yeah. Well, it's like when I heard Brains Flew By, I think that was the first like West Side project I heard. The first time I listened to it, I don't think I like got it at first. Like it took me
Uh-huh.
like I liked it, but I didn't get it, and I had to
Mhm.
like really dive into it before I realized what it was.
Nice, nice. I don't think I heard that one.
It's
You might have got me on that one.
it was one of his first. It was when he was doing a lot of like EPs with different producers and stuff
Mhm.
after Fly God. Um, it's weird. It's only like 3 or 4 songs, but he does like different beats on. So it's like 3 songs, but it's 9 tracks, and it's
Yeah.
like the same song over different beats. It was weird. I didn't know what I was listening to at first.
Now I gotta look that one up. I don't think I heard that one. Let me see. Brains flew by. Let me write that down. So I'm gonna listen to it after this.
Yeah, no, that's really good. There's so much stuff like the one that he has with the producer that's just the like Asian symbol. West Side Gun, it's fully produced. It's like, I don't know, it's like a woman screaming in white and red on the cover.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
There's
Yeah. I
just
don't
so
know.
many like weird. I like the drop as much music as possible, like the dump mentality. Now I had Jay Nice from the now I just say dump like fucking God Fahim, dump it. But I like the dump mentality of like don't take 3-4 years to release an album.
Yeah. Strike while the iron's hot, man. I agree.
And I
But
bet
I
that's
think
beneficial for you. Like you can do a lot of covers and test your styles out because so many different people are releasing music.
yes, yes. And I've gotten to the point. I'm very blessed to get to the point where a lot of people are just like, do your thing. You know, that's like the greatest like thing any client can ask you to do is like do your thing and just let you have full creative control over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times the guys like, oh, I want this, I want this car, I want these rims, I want this chain, and here's a picture of my chain, and here's a picture of these shoes I want. You know, it's a lot of referencing, and it's like, oh my god, it gets a little monotonous at times. But to have artists be like, oh, I trust you, like here's my project, do what you do, and then like love it afterwards. Like you can't beat that, man. Can't beat
Will
it.
you turn an artist down if they give you too many like things to do?
I don't think I've ever turned an artist down afterwards. I might have like made some suggestions and say, you know, might want to leave this out. But the Cardo in Larry June project, he wanted to put girls hanging out of the cars. And I was just like, I think it might be a little too much, you know, like
Yeah.
it's going to take away from the whole aesthetic of the project. And he agreed. So here we are.
Do you work yourself too thin? Like if you're not turning people, I mean, of course you turn artists down, but like, do you feel like you accept too much work for the time that you have?
Yeah. 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 Some stuff I just feel like I just can't say no. You know what I mean? Like Cardo hits me up. I can't say no a lot of times.
Yeah.
most of the time. I mean, I had before, and he just like doesn't quit. He's like, I need you, I need you, I need you. Like, all right, man. I might say no one day, and like a week later, he'll come back like harder. And was like, "Yo, you ready?" And I'm like, all right, man. Yeah. So shout out to Cardo, man.
Are
But I haven't really.
you? How did he find you, or did you reach out to him first?
He reached out to me like when I was doing like the Simpsons stuff. So I don't know, somewhere on the internet you'll find I did a artwork with him, like a Simpsonized version of him in front of Monte Carlo. Um, I've been trying to find it online. I cannot find it to save my life. I'm sure he has it somewhere, but
Do you not do The
that's
Simpsons anymore?
nah, man. I try to stay away from that for the most part. It got kind of old. Literally, I could have sat there and made a career out of doing that for people. You know what I mean? That's how much demand there was for it. But I didn't want to be like pigeonholed and drawn in someone else's style and not making a name for myself. I didn't want to be the
Yeah.
Simpson guy.
Do you still get requests from that, or like?
No, it really no.
I think that's good because I feel like artists could get like pigeonholed into like one style
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
realize that they can branch out.
yeah. That's what it was, and so like it was cool when it kind of popped off, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and then like droves of people were just asking me all the time, and it's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm burnt out. Like I'm tired of it. Like I'm not Matt Gruning. What was his last name? Gruning. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm done with it, man. Like I want to
Be-
concentrate on my style.
because it's not your full-time job, do you feel like you can kind of accept jobs like as you want, not have to do that?
No, absolutely. That's the beauty of it all, man. Like I don't need to do a cover. I do it because I want to.
Is that the
And
reason
then
you don't go full-time, or is it like if you got health insurance from painting, would you do that? Like
I mean, at this point, yeah, if somebody was like, yo, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars to pump out X amount of covers and here's all your benefits, then yeah, but right now, you know what I mean? I got a wife, kids, house, cars.
I'm scared of that because like I'm
Yeah.
24 years old. And so I have one more year before I'm off my parents' insurance. Like that's like a real thing. So I'm trying to create as much as I can before that happens.
Take
Because
advantage of it,
like
man.
once I hit that, it's like, oh shit, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. 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 You got to man up, man.
That's what I mean. I know. I do understand that, but it is like it sucks. I mean, it doesn't. That's the way the world works. That's the way that like life works. But it is like they don't want you. They don't want you being a creative. You know.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I admire anybody who can just. I'm not built to be a freelancer, you know what I mean, and like a hustler. I mean, I hustle in different ways, but I could just be like not have a job and be out there scrambling for money. Like that's just not me. Like I need something steady. I need that assurance. I need to know that that check gonna hit the bank every other Friday. You know what I mean? Like I need to know. So props to everyone out there doing their thing because I need that paycheck.
Do you think that? Have you always been disciplined? Because that's discipline.
Yeah, yeah. Since day one.
Did you grow up with that, or is that something you had to learn? As you
I
said,
grew
like
up with that, man.
man up.
Mom's wasn't playing that, man. She said you could not go to college, but your ass better get a job. So I've had a job ever since. I've never not had a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So man, I've had jobs. I've been to school with a job, and doing this shit. I've held 3, 4 jobs at one time at one point. So I work,
I
man.
I know I get like I worked a job like 70 hours a week doing stand up full time before all this
Mhm.
shit hit. And then it's like, all right, there's a decision you have to make. As you said, like, are you going to be disciplined enough to put in the time to know what you need to get out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Because no one, as much as you just want to create, you can't just create. There's like
Right.
6 jobs behind being a creative.
Right. Right. I will tell you this: the one good thing about having a job and being a creative is it doesn't give you a lot of time to like lollygag and overthink things because you got to meet deadlines, and the little bit of time you do have, you have to make the most of it. Whereas I feel like if I was a full-time creative and I sat at home and drew all day, it'll be so much more relaxed, and I just be like, whatever. But because I got a job and then I got like house projects and stuff to do, it's like when I sit down to actually draw, it's draw time.
Yeah.
It's go time. So
When I feel lazy, it's not because I did too much, it's because I didn't do enough. It's like you think, or at least I think my brain as if it's like a battery or that it drains, but that's not how it works. It's kind of like a wind power machine where you need to kind of get going to generate
right,
energy.
that
The more
momentum's
you,
going.
the more stuff you put on your plate, the more energy you have. It's not the other way around.
I can see that. I can see that.
Like, I don't know. Whenever I'm like, oh, I have so much stuff going on. I feel like if I don't do anything, I have to like make myself more busy to keep myself going. I don't know. Like, I don't like to. I can't take 2 days off of not doing anything.
I can definitely take 2 days off and I don't.
Well, that's yeah, I understand. You have do you
I
get
take that
any
back.
time to yourself?
Sometimes I've been working on making time for myself. Life says I need to make time for myself because I'm stressing myself out. So um, I make it a point to make some time for myself within
Does
the
it ever
last
become too much?
2-3
Like
months.
everything, all the balls up in the air that you have going?
Yeah, man. Every day, man. Every day is too much. And you just like work through it. You have your times you just feel like you're overwhelmed and the world's sitting on your shoulders. And then other times you feel like you have everything under control. I think it's life, man. I think that's just living in today's society, man. You got everything happening right now. So um what matters is how you get through it, you know.
Do you ever take a break from art, from creating?
Mm, no, not really. No. I mean, I might not draw a few days, but I'm always thinking of stuff and like mentally drawing. I don't know if anybody else does that, but like I'm like mentally, if I can't like actually draw something on paper or on my iPad, I'm like drawing it in my head or like putting the ideas in my head and like literally like watching my hand in my head draw the lines and how it's going to be. And so then like when I actually sit down, I could relay that onto the paper or the iPad. So
I've
I feel
never
like
heard
sounds
an
good.
artist describe it like that because that's how I write. Like I don't
Yeah.
sit down and write jokes. Like I don't when I'm writing my stand up, I don't like sit down and like, all right, this is what I'm gonna say, this is what I'm gonna say. Like I go
Right.
out and I ride my bike or I take a walk or I'm out in the day and I'm like picturing it in my head, writing it or on stage. Like I'll be like, okay, this is how I'd say it on stage. And then when it goes, I can kind of remember how I did it then. I'm too I'm not good at sitting down. That's why like I'm not good at sitting down and not doing anything.
Yeah. Me neither. Me neither. I cannot sit still at all.
That's crazy coming from an artist.
I'm very hands on. So I'm a building engineer during the day. So like I can't sit at my desk. I have to be moving, working with somebody, fixing something. Like I gotta be doing something. If I sit still, I fall asleep.
Well, that's like I like to force myself to sit down and have a conversation. That's why I like this podcast is because I'm very like, oh, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? So when I force myself to sit down and talk for an hour, I don't really care about the listens, but I just get to like talk to people I want to talk to. And then, hey, people like it. But it's forcing myself to, because there's so much you can pull out of just a simple conversation.
Right. Right. That's
Anyway.
awesome, man. Anyway, let me ask you,
Do
man,
you have,
how you
oh,
get
what were
into
you saying?
comedy, man? How do you get into comedy?
How did I get into comedy?
Yeah.
I got in a I got into it. I got in a bad hockey accident trying to impress a girl. And I had to lay in a dark room for a month and I just listened to
Uh,
stand up for that month. And I'd always liked it before then, but after that month I was like, God damn, that's the thing I'm gonna do.
yeah.
Like I
Good
don't
for
know.
you, man.
I'm very I don't know if I am spiritual in the way that it's like I could do 100 things, but my path is focused on comedy. And when I focus on that, it leads me to the things I need to do. So like it's like comedy almost picked me. I don't know like how did I find it? It's almost like how did it find me type thing.
Oh, okay, I can see that. That's dope, man. That's really dope. So how do you like I love stand up comedy and sometimes I think I'm funny, but I never like you think about doing actual stand up, like how do you go like how do you even write a stand up? Like it's not like writing a rap or sketching,
No. Have you
drawing.
ever written
It's
raps? Did you ever try rapping?
of course, man. Who has it? Come on, man. Every fan of hip hop
Yeah.
wrote
I don't
some
know if you
raps
know Me
before.
Fucks that had a Lord Mob with Flea Lord, but I was in their studio and he made me get in the booth and freestyle, and it was the worst experience of my whole
Oh
life.
my
In
god.
Flea Lord's studio, just bombing a freestyle. No, I can't sit down and write. Like I have to just you go up on stage and you bomb a lot until you realize how to talk to people on stage, and
Mm,
that's when you can start writing jokes. It's like you have to be a masochist almost. You have to go in front of an audience every day for like I would do it 12 times a week when I started for almost a year straight and just have a whole room of people hate you until finally a
yeah.
room doesn't hate you, and then you can kind of build, and then that's when you really start writing jokes and becoming a comedian.
Well, don't you go in thinking they already hate you?
Exact. Or when you go in being like, I don't fucking care. It's
Yeah.
hard to like. That's what stage fright is as a kid. Like going up and speaking, it's like I don't want everyone to think I'm stupid,
Yeah.
but everyone's gonna think you're stupid. You just have to get past that.
Wow. So
Like
when you're go ahead.
no, I was just like that's why I love art. I love art. But I could never start because I feel too stupid when I start. I'm like, this is shit. This is shit. But everyone probably feels that until they become good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, you do it repetition, man. Repetition.
It's the same thing. It's just funny how like different people find different things. That's why I mean like
Hmm.
comedy found me. Do you feel like you found art or do you feel like art found you? Like that was what you were meant to do?
I don't know, man. My mom was artistic. My aunts, my dad, like everyone around me always drew. My mom was like a big influence because she drew all the time. And I would just try to like match hers or like draw whatever she drew, and like she was always shitting on me, and I was like, dang, I got to do better than that. And like it took
You
a
were
while
shitting
before
on
I,
your work?
huh?
You were shitting on your work?
No, no. I mean, I said like her work was shitting on mine. Like it was so good.
Oh, I thought
I
you were
could,
being like, I
yeah.
thought you were showing her your work and you're like, this is dog shit.
Nah, man. Like she was killing. We had this how to draw horses book, and you know how to draw books. You just start off with like circles and shapes, and then like it'd be like step one the circles, and then like step two would be like half the horse is drawn, and like step three is the final product. And she would just go in straight to step three, like no circles and shapes or nothing, and like draw the entire thing, shading and all. And I'm still like erasing my circle marks. And I'm like, how are you doing that? You know, and it was so good. It was like full of realistic to the picture in the book. Um, and it was so good. So we joke about it now. Today, I recently just bought her a sketchbook and the same How to Draw Horses book from like 1986. I found it on Amazon and trying to get her back into it. So
Oh wow. Could she believe
yeah.
what you're doing with art now?
Oh yeah, man. She's been part of the process since the beginning. You know what I mean?
That's really nice having the support that she wasn't shitting on your work. No, but like that was something you did with your mom and that she still continues to support is very nice.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. She always looked out, man. Got me some scholarships to like in community college and put me in some like independent art classes when I was younger. Like she always like tried to push. Always gave me the supplies. Always brought home printer paper from work. You know, like she was always there.
And she was always pushing you to have a job too.
Right, right.
So that's where your mentality, I mean, that makes sense why your mentality is
Probably, yeah.
that you can juggle the both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Was she ever like a published artist or did she have anything?
She just worked, man. She drew in her free time. She's
Is that
she's
what
an
you
artist
thought you were
working.
going to do? Just draw in your free time?
I mean, that's literally what I'm doing now.
A little bit more than that.
Drawing in my free time.
Yeah. But as you said, that had an impact on you having that guy in that store come up to you and say how your work affected him.
Yeah,
Like,
man. I
that's more than
mean,
just like a pastime, you know?
yeah, yeah. It definitely puts the battery in your back. And every time I go to these events, these top shelf events, I talk to Mark about it all the time. And like it's like insane, man. I can't even fathom like the feeling that people want to meet and talk to me and ask me questions about the cover and like meeting this person and like, I work a job every day. You know what I mean? I'm just like I'm no better than you, no different than you. And I don't know. It's cool and weird to me at the same time. But
How do the people you work with, like, do you look at them like, how are you not doing more? Or do they look at you like, how are you doing so much? Or what's the dynamic there?
no, they always say you shouldn't be here. You should be in Hollywood or something, doing something else. Like you shouldn't be here. I'm like, where else would I be? Like, there's, I don't know. There probably is a way to excuse me, make this a full time thing. Excuse me, sorry, but it's not in the cards for me right now.
Right now, do you never see it one day happening? Like you don't see yourself trying to make it that your
No,
thing?
honestly, it's really fun for me, man. I've been very fortunate to be able to make artwork for artists that I like and get paid for it. And the idea of doing it full time means I have to take in a lot more clients, and to make ends meet. So then I'm stressing myself out. I'm
Yeah.
really pushing myself too thin. Then maybe the art gets boring to me at that point, because now it's a job, and now it's not me doing something I like and love. It's doing because I have to do it, and you lose the feeling.
Well, it's funny because that's what's Squat Dead Face.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has the exact same mentality. He has a whole ass flooring business in Australia. Like, like it is just that maybe it would like it would be too stressful maybe if you did it
Oh,
full time. It
absolutely,
wouldn't
man. And
be.
I like my time. Like I like spending time with my family. I like going out. Like there's no way I could be chained to the desk and be drawing all day long.
Do you have anybody you want? I mean, you have worked with everybody. I mean, like, do you
But
have people you want to do covers for that you haven't yet? I mean, it's crazy the ones that you've done, whether it be
um,
MF Doom or Rock Marcy or
one that I haven't done yet. Shit, man. I don't know, man. You would ask me that a few months ago. I would have said Larry June, but now I'm dead Larry June. So, um, I don't know. It's tough, man. Maybe like Ghostface or something, somebody like that.
yeah,
That'd be dope.
that would be dope.
Or like the RZA. Do like a cover for one of them. I think.
You did the Wu Tang inspired on the bike too, right? The Wu Tang bike.
Yeah, with Ray and Ghost.
Yeah, I loved that one.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Um, do you have any like artists that you are like? Is there a scene of artists, like artists that you talk to, that you look up to, or that you like or are inspired?
Um, that I communicate with, or I just like in general.
Yeah, like either way. Do you have artists that you like look up to that you got
Yeah,
to reach
man.
out with and not work with, but check out like they check out your work or anything like that?
Yeah, man. My guy Lord NMF. I think you had him on the show.
Yeah, shout out Lord.
That's my guy, man. We talk all the time, man. We share progress and tips and life stories. Like we go back and forth all the time, man. All day long. Early in the morning, late at night, just go in.
He's a talented. There's so many talented artists in the scene, but he's such a genuine dude, just a really nice
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like very genuine. You said it. And
Man,
like
thank you so much for
the
doing this.
funniest.
I really
Oh, thank you.
appreciate you coming on the podcast for real.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you 100%. I appreciate what you're doing for the culture. I hate to sound cliche and say for the culture, but it's good that you're in this lane and you do the comedy, like wearing
That
all the
means a lot.
hats.
Thank
Yeah,
you. No, for real. That does
yeah,
mean a lot because I feel the same way about you, and it's an honor to because when we met, it was kind of in passing. It's supply and demand, but at
right.
the
And I
next
felt
one,
bad. I felt bad because I was like, man, this guy should do a podcast, and I just like dipped out. And I was like, I had to go, man. I had to get back to work. You
dude,
know.
I understand. I'm like, even though I don't have like a full time job other than this, like, man, it's busy sometimes. It's scheduling's hard. Like
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
to more than 10 people on your like texting more than 10 people is impossible. Like
yeah,
talking to 10
yeah.
people on Instagram, I like if I get more than 3 messages, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I
Meltdown.
just looked at my phone. I have over 105 notifications.
Oh my god.
I'm not trying to, yeah, no. It's too much. It's too much. So I understand.
Yeah.
Where can people find your stuff? Do you have prints and stuff online?
Yeah, man. Bnardartwork.com. All my stuff's on there.
And do you have anything coming up that you can share? Any artwork you have coming, or will people find it on your Instagram?
Do I have anything? Nah, man, I can't share anything, man. A lot of times I work on stuff. I can't even talk about it half the time.
I
It
understand.
sucks, man.
Like a Russian spy.
Yeah, and like until it comes out, and it's just like I will say I am working on another project, Ricardo, so that hopefully should be out soon.
Oh, that'll be dope. That'll be dope.
I think you'll
And
like
thank
it.
you
It's
so
great.
much. I hopefully we can link in person next time in New York.
Oh, for sure, man.
How far are
I
you
hope
from
they get
Baltimore?
Baltimore is like 45 minutes, 40 minutes, 45
My
minutes.
whole family's from Lewiston, Lewis, right outside of Baltimore on my mom's side. They have some Irish pub called O'Point and Still. I don't know. I'm supposed to go down to Baltimore in a few weeks to meet up with SK of Drumwork and Jay Royale.
Gotcha. Well,
You ever work with Jay Royale out of Baltimore?
I have not.
Oh, he's dope. He's had songs with Conway and Benny. He's a dope artist.
He was at the joint, right? At the Top Shelf.
Yeah, he performed.
Yeah.
From Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. So I met him and the Doughboy Fresh pretzel guy. Talked to him for a long time outside. Yeah. We were talking in the rain for a minute.
Yeah. Man, thank you. For real. I appreciate you giving up your night for this.
No problem, man. It's the night's just beginning. But thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, I know. Am I gonna go do? I'll probably go do stand up right now.
There you go. Send me a link so I can watch it.
All right. Have a good one. Thank you very much, Ren.
All right, you too, bro.
Peace.
Peace.